One of the most common questions and concerns we receive from customers is regarding orchids. Orchids are sold at any local retailer such as supermarkets, as well as florists and garden centers. Our customers are concerned that when they buy orchids, they typically tend to die within 3 to 4 weeks. The reason for this is purely biological. Orchids are considered to be saprophytes, which essentially means they feed off of oxygen and dead organic matter. Orchid roots are supposed to always be readily exposed to oxygen for this reason. It is important for you as a consumer to understand that when growers sell orchids, they are tightly packed into plastic containers. As you can see here, the roots are crushed under the substrate and do not peek out or get any exposure to oxygen. When you water orchids, they drown the roots. The roots slowly and gradually begin to rot, and as the roots rot, the plant begins to die. When buying an orchid, it is very important to examine the orchid when you purchase it. Look at the leaves. Make sure that the leaves are firm as well as juicy. Make sure there isn't any strange pigmentation on the leaves. Look at the bulbs. Make sure that the bulbs are firm and not yellowing. If the bulbs have begun to yellow or fall off, it means that the plant is already dying and it is unlikely that you will be successful in saving it. Make sure that the flowers, the leaves, and the bulbs, as well as the stem, is at its freshest quality. Oftentimes, plants already begin to die on the shelves of garden centers and retail stores. When getting your plant, it is important right away to cut open the plastic container in which the plant arrives. These containers are unlivable and completely useless. If you keep your plant in the container, it will die. As you can see, the roots are tightly packed and crushed. This is unlivable for the orchid. You have to spread the roots out gently and take out all of the substrate. Typically, the substrate will be very wet from watering. The wetter the substrate, the likelier it is that it will begin to rot quickly. Spread the roots out gently because you will be putting it into a fresh pot and putting in your own substrate. Choose a pot that has holes in the bottom so that water can drain out easily and not stay too long inside of the container. Fill the pot with moss. Moss can be found outside in parks and wooded areas, and you can collect it there. Additionally, bark from pine trees is ideal for orchids. Make sure, once again, and this is very important, to spread the roots out. Make sure that they are on the outside of the pot and have plenty of air to breathe. Fill the container with moss, as well as bark as you see fit. Make sure that the container is readily spacious and not cramped. The orchid prefers humid areas with plenty of sunlight. Make sure that you find an area of the house where sunlight can reach the orchid. Typically, a kitchen is more humid than any other area of the house. If you want, put your orchid on your kitchen window. Ensure that there is plenty of sunlight for the orchid to thrive. It is important to note that moss is rich in nutrients, so you won't have to fertilize your orchid in any additional way. If you'd like, you could choose any decorative pot to put the pot inside of. Now we're going to show you how to water your orchid. Take your orchid out of the decorative pot cover, put it over a container and water it. Ensure that all of the excess water is drained out. Leave no excess water inside your pot. When you're done watering the orchid, place your orchid back inside the decorative container. Ensure to occasionally spray the orchid with water. The orchid loves the humidity the water provides. Eventually, the blooms of your orchid will wilt and die. Cut down the stem and leave it. The orchid has a 2-month resting period. If you keep the orchid in optimal conditions, ensuring humidity and sunlight, the orchid will eventually spring a new stem with new flowers for you to enjoy. Please use these tips wisely and when purchasing your orchid from retail stores. Enjoy your orchid and have a wonderful day.